Alrighty, we're back here. I have to redo this because my microphone has been cutting out because it's way too far, so I have to be right here. Sorry. But yeah, as you guys just seen or about to see, we did. This is being recorded after I beat it, right? Because I didn't explain why I chose the settings. So for the bio settings, we did end up beating 20. The ratio core 20, ratio 20, whatever. Our expected power was 458,000. As you guys can see from my power, I'm half that. Not only that, when we got to the final boss, I was still half the power. I was getting shafted with the buffs, but I was still able to beat it because of the team I ended up running. So I'm going to show you guys the buffs, why I ran them, and all that stuff. There's going to be timestamps in this video. Subscribe and like. Let's go. So obviously you have the fixed one. Can't do nothing about it. I ended up putting the attack percent buff, the 25% attack percent buff, the +3 one, only because this does hurt you if they deal damage, but they still felt so weak, right? If you guys, when you guys see the video, you're gonna see that Scarlet was kind of just shredding through all these enemies, right? Scarlet was definitely the MVP here, right? The Black Shadow Scarlet, she was definitely the MVP here, but she was just shredding through the bosses. So the attack buff does not matter if they're dying that quick, right? The defensive buff, defense in this game is fake, right? I'm sorry. Right, you could honestly go for the highest defense buff, right? If you want that core, if you want that additional 4, you can go for the highest defense. Defense in this game is fake. I'm sorry, it is. All right. And then you have the HP buff. I did end up going with the highest HP buff just because, again, I felt like the team I was gonna run at the time was obviously going to be very, very strong, and it ended up being, as you guys are about to see, right? This one is the status bonus effect increase that, what's it called? It disables Nikke bonds effect. So the bonus effects you get from them, it disables all of that. Reason why I did that is because besides Red Hood, everybody else is from the range of 10 to 20, if not just at 10, right? So obviously Red Hood was the only person who was really being affected by this, because my Red Hood is bond level 40, which I believe is the max. I'm not sure. I think that's the max, right? But it was a bit sad, but it didn't really hurt the run that much, right? Obviously I ended up putting this duration of destroy is reduced by 30%. I'm not sure what that means, right? I'm not sure if that means that's for a boss. I'm not sure if that's for, Red Hood, or not Red Hood, Modernia. Let me know in the comments down below. Is that for Modernia, or is that for objects that you destroy? I don't know, whatever, but it completely was useless, right? Whatever the destroy was, if it was for Modernia, the team comp does not include Modernia, so it was completely useless, right? SMG burst 1s, had to get rid of them. We were not using litter. I don't even use litter like that, right? I don't use litter like that. She's not a bad character at all, but I really knew what I wanted to do with this team comp before going in, so I knew that was going to be a W for me, because this was a useless effect then, right? All rapture codes remain as iron, did not really matter, and then that was that, right? It did not matter. But let me show you guys the team I ended up running. Again, there will be timestamps, so just go to wherever you gotta go. Right, I ended up running Summer Mary, Blanc, Scarlet, Red Hood, and Noir. We have the 2 healers, max HP increase and just overtime healing, indomitability, damage increase to the enemies, and then also overtime healing, indomitability, very good. Our 2 powerhouses, and then Noir for the Blanc, right? You guys want to see gear? They all got overload gear besides her and her, right? And then their cube were all resilient, right? Skill level 555. Yep. Oh, y'all can't even see. Okay, I'm okay. My thing is, there you go. Right, just pause it if you, I apologize. There you go. Everything's okay. Now we're gonna go into. Alrighty, so we got Zxous here, the future one that is doing the voiceover. So yeah, as you guys already seen the team and all that stuff. It wasn't very difficult with this team. I felt like the biggest DPS here was Scarlet. I feel like a lot of people take Scarlet's AoE for granted, or they just don't even think about how useful it is, right? Scarlet having that constant AoE, especially during her burst skill, was definitely the thing that helped me out the most here, right? Because when I'm going for the boss, Scarlet's handling all the other enemies without me having to actually worry about them, and I know she's doing it efficiently. So as you guys seen there, first, I always use Scarlet's burst skill because you start off with the mobs, and then by doing that, right, when you destroy the mobs, you get the bosses. By the time the boss comes in, Red Hood ends up coming. So as you guys see here, I chose a buff that was benefiting Scarlet and Red Hood. Kind of all the buffs I was getting were shafting me, right? The buffs were shafting me, but the buffs that I were getting and picking, as you guys see there, are the ones that benefit Scarlet and Red Hood. Those are the only 2 characters that matter the most here, since they are, the ones who are doing damage, right? Mary, Blanc, and Noir are all just there to support these two. These two have to help you do damage. So I believe here Red Hood ended up dying, right? I think Red Hood ended up dying here. Yeah, so I reset because what happened was one of the mobs just ended up instantly, boom, like one banging you. So what you're gonna see here this time, what I ended up doing is it was all on auto, by the way. I did not touch it. I did not do nothing like that. It was all on auto. So if you have this team and you chose the same ones and you're around the same power, you can probably beat it if you haven't tried it. But yeah, this time I covered. Yeah, I covered for a while. Let it hit me. It hit my Mary this time. And then Red Hood again when Red Hood uses her burst skill. The one thing is, because both Mary, Blanc, and Noir were all on cooldown, every time I got to Red Hood's burst skill, she would use her burst 1, 2, and 3, giving her the massive 10-second attack buff and her massive damage. Not only that, she's also healing herself and taunting, right? Which in this situation, Simulation Room, I felt like was very, very helpful. But yeah, there's no question, like, you having Scarlet and Red Hood, this is definitely a dream team. So right there, we are almost about to die there, but having Blanc and Mary guarantees that my character just won't die. Max HP increase, healing from both of them, indomitability, and then also when you use Blanc's burst skill, all these enemies end up being weak. So you guys, anytime Red Hood uses her burst skill, she's just shredding through all the enemies there. So again, we cleared here, and then again, Scarlet did most damage here, as you guys are about to see right here. Again, I just chose the one that benefits anybody, like my DPS, right? That's what I focused down on. So obviously you guys are going to get different passes and stuff like that. I was getting really shafted with my passive, so I'm sure you guys are probably going to get better ones. Maybe you guys got worse, I'm not sure. But yeah, I ended up getting shafted with the buff, so that was good for me, because if I was still able to beat it with shafted buffs, you guys are probably going to be able to beat it with easier buffs and stuff like that. Mind you, I was not close to the power. My level is 281. We lost the bond effect and stuff like that. Not only that, we were half power as well. So if you're around my power, which I think a lot of you guys are, right? Around my power or even slightly lower, and you get better buffs, you're going to be able to clear with this team. So here, that was just a buff that went to all the attackers, right? It was either I chose the Missilist buff or the attacker buffs. We had no Missilist on our team, so I just went to go choose the ones that have the attack buff, or not the attack buff, the attackers. I chose the buff that benefits the attackers, right? And then here, what do we got here? This was just a regular one again. Blah, 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 blah. Again, Scarlet does her AoE, just kind of deletes all the enemies. And then when you get in her burst skill, it just becomes a massacre, right? It literally becomes a massacre. Oh, I just took in, there's a moon that pulls up when Scarlet's in her burst skill. I never noticed that. Oh, no, it's just when she has her AoE. But yeah, bosses with Red Hood's ultimate, they will never survive. It's just how it is. So yeah, bosses with Red Hood's burst skill just will never survive. And then boom. And then we got here, I think this one I already had this buff, but it was an SR version, so I changed out my R version for the SR version. This was again buffing up Scarlet and Red Hood. I think they was supposed to charge full charge damage, right? They would do additional damage for full charge damage. Both of them were doing full charge damage. That was their whole gimmick. So yeah, then I ended up choosing the buff that made all my buffs square. And then as you guys can see there, I'm half the power still. I'm still half the power, actually less than half of the power. You see me over there stretching and stuff like that. But this was very easy because of Red Hood, right? This was a boss that had so many parts, right? And the Red Hood has pierce effects, so Scarlet does what Scarlet does, handles all the mobs. And this is why I find Scarlet to be useful even against bosses with mobs, because she's still hurting the boss but killing all the mobs. And then because this boss had so many parts, Red Hood is hitting every single one of these parts and then just shredding them. So as you guys see here, Red Hood did the most damage. Way too much parts. So with the pierce and her burst skill, way too many parts were going on there. And then I ended up beating it. So yeah. So yeah, as you guys see, right, this is again Future Zxous because the audio wasn't working out properly. Yeah, I did end up clearing it, as you guys see, just explained it. Bunny Girls were a big help here. Summer Mary was a massive help here, and Scarlet was definitely the MVP. I think anytime I'm doing the Simulation Room, Scarlet is kind of just a must there because of how well she can actually handle these mobs, especially if I'm half the power that's recommended and she's shredding through bosses like that. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna want her for all those other things. So hopefully this was helpful for a lot of you guys. You guys let me know down below. Right, this was a video, so it might change, I'm not sure, but yeah, I did end up getting the additional rewards on top of what I already got yesterday. In the span of just one day with this event, I think I've gotten more than 200 of these materials, which is very good if that's what it is, like if that's how it's going to be every single day, right? So that's pretty good. But you guys let me know what you think. Your boy Zxous, and I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm out later. Peace.